Okay, we're back, and we left off right as I was telling you about all the non-steel parts on this gun. So I got my Neo Cube magnets here, and this is kind of like a little gadget that you can build pyramids and different shapes and whatnot. And like I said, they're neodyne magnets. So I'm going to see what parts of this gun is actual steel and which are not. So I'm just going to put these away. And let's take it out of the box, put the box aside. And there's the other side of the gun. One thing that I really like is the engravings on this thing is absolutely amazing. They're really deep and sharp and distinct. So that's nice. One thing I did notice just now when I was preparing for this video is that the slide catch is really loose in the hole here. Let's see if I can get an angle on that. I mean, it doesn't take much force at all for it to move. Another thing that kind of disappointed me was that the sights are not painted in. I know it's probably not a big deal to a lot of people, but I've tried to do that before and it's not the most fun thing to do. Trying to get a little paintbrush in there and dip in a dab of paint without getting white paint all over your gun. So definitely not looking forward to doing that. What else can I tell you about it? Well, one thing I did notice that I don't like, I'll try to get a close-up of that later. They've done something here to the ejection port that I've never seen before. First, I thought maybe they tried to flare the ejection port like they do on real steel guns, but to my understanding, you do that on this side where the shell casing actually comes out. This is inside, so there's a big gap between the barrel and the slide edge, and that's another thing. I think I figured out why it's like that, because when you drag the slide, it's incredibly smooth. There's really no friction whatsoever. I expected it to be a lot heavier. So what I think they did was, excuse me, they made it so that the barrel does not interact with the slide at all. You know, on the 1911 there are the locking lugs on the barrel and on the inside of the slide, but when I pull that back, absolutely nothing. There's no click, no clack, nothing's happening with the barrel right there. So it's lowered and made free of the slide, and that's probably just to make it cycle, because if they were to have steel on steel locked together, it probably wouldn't be able to cycle at all. And that's another thing that kind of bothers me, is when, I'm not sure if you can tell here, but to me, it sounds like there's a click or a clack missing when you pull the slide and let it forward. You know, there's supposed to be that last chick, and it's not there. And again, I think that's due to the fact that the barrel is not locking into the slide at all. Let's see. Well, another fun fact or thing I noticed: the ambi safety, completely rubbish. That is the amount of play that is in the ambi safety. It's not moving at all on the other side. And you know, if I cock the hammer here and try to engage the ambi safety from this side, I can get it halfway up, but it does not fully engage on the right side. It does not lock into place. So you have to push it up on the right side, and again, when it's locked on there, you still have that amount of play in the part. And push down, well, of course now it worked, but usually it does not disengage fully when I drop it from the right hand side. So yeah, good times with the Tech Kimber. So you can probably tell there are a couple of scratches here behind the slide catch, and no, those are not 1911 idiot marks. Those appear here when you insert the slide catch. I'm not sure what they're from, but obviously something on the back side of the slide catch is rubbing up against the frame. Kind of disappointing, but you know, that's to be expected. You're going to get some wear marks on a pistol, regardless. So, what else? Someone posted a test video clip a couple of days ago or a week ago or so, and I hadn't noticed it until someone commented, and they said, "Wow, look at that gap by the grip safety," and there is a full, you know, I would say 0.75 millimeters of space between the frame and the grip safety. And you know, that's just something that you don't want to have to see on an $850 gun. It's not, you know, no me gusta, as the Spanish people say. And again, another thing, I'm kind of, you know, OCD about things, and I like perfect things, and that's really the reason why I bought this, because for the last couple of years I started buying stock Tokyo Marui pistols, and then I moved on to pistols with metal slides, and then eventually I got into I'll say attempting to build my own custom guns based on Marui pistols, and you know, I bought the metal kits and all the bits and whatnot, and I found out that I'm not really the right type of person to be trying to put those things together. I got really frustrated that I didn't get them to fit or function well, and as most of you know, regardless of how well you fit a metal kit to a gun, it's going to function worse with that on than with the plastic stock parts. That's just the way it is. And so I gave up on that project, and I moved on to buying stock factory-made KJW pistols. That I have to say, I absolutely love those guns. KJW, absolutely fantastic brand in my opinion. They make good guns, reasonable price range, and being that they're not exactly clones, but they're based on Marui pistols, you can get a lot of compatible parts and so forth. And also a big plus for KJW is that they sell spare parts directly to end customers. That is a big plus for me. So while I like KJW, I don't like their parts on my $850 Tech Kimber Royal II. Whew, I'm running out of breath here. I'm talking so much. Another thing that I noticed that bothers me is the magazine release button sticks out about, well, without the magazine in, it's maybe 0.15 millimeters or maybe 0.25 millimeters. But with the magazine in, let me just get that and put it in. It actually comes out even further, and right there it's about 0.5 millimeter, I would say. And again, that's the kind of detail that I don't want to have to see on this kind of pistol. Just a quick, while I have the magazine here, it drops freely from the gun, both in the cock and lock, in the slide forward position, but also with the slide lock back. So that's nice. That's one of the things that I think is important. Um, um, and then we have the actual trigger pull on this thing. The stock KJW, I have a KJW MEU, and I thought that trigger was terrible. You know, it's stiff and mushy and hard to press. This one is worse. I press it in, and that's where it starts to take on, you know, and now I have to push with like 5 times as much force, and then even more to make it break the shot, and it's terrible. If you do it quickly, but if you want to squeeze off a shot, you know, nice and smooth, it's just an absolute nightmare. So I bought an Airsoft Surgeon spring here to see if I can fix the issue with the trigger there. Another thing that bothers me is the front sight is wedged into the slide, completely fixed, no way of adjusting it, and to top it all off, it's actually in there crooked. It's tilting a little bit to the left hand side. Not terribly much, but enough to bother me. So yeah, what else? Well, the fake firing pin and the removable extractor is a nice touch. I like that. The way it's done is usually you have the hex screw that screws into the what's it called, the blowback unit here, and instead you this is retaining it with retention here. I'll do a takedown video at some point. It's not the most fun thing to do, but I think I'll show you that. So anyway, what do I like about this gun? Maybe I should tell you that as well. Well, like I said, the slide and frame, beautiful. The balance of this gun is near perfect. You know, it's right there in the trigger guard. So obviously I can't balance it on one finger, but so that's nice. It feels good in the hand, nice weight and feel. Again, the grips I'm gonna have to replace too. I get sweaty palms real easily, so these shiny grips are not the best for me. Actually, the thing that I was most pleased about is the recoil spring plug. And that probably sounds odd to a lot of you, wondering what the hell. But if you've ever had a 1911 or MEU style pistol with a full-length recoil recoil spring guide rod, they're excuse me while I do a bit of foul language here, but they're an absolute bitch to take apart because they're actually locked in to the slide right there with a rim, and so you have to pull the recoil spring plug back with the force of the spring all the way back. Then you have to pull the recoil spring rod forward, tilt it to the side, and pull it off. So what they did on this one is they have a real steel type of recoil spring plug. So what you do is depress it, rotate the barrel bushing to the side, and wink, it comes right out like the real steel. And that to me is a major plus. I absolutely love that they did that. The standard ones, they have a rim going around here that sits in the slide. And also, not that it matters terribly much on airsoft 1911s, but once you get the tension of the spring out, like so, disassembling it becomes a lot easier. You don't have to fight the spring tension when taking it down. So now you can just see if I can do this. Pull the slide stop out, and I'm gonna have to take a look at why that's come loose, because that bothers me. Then the slide comes off. You got the slide in the frame. You got the beautiful knot KJW red nozzle to handle the CO2, and the let's see here, recoil spring guide rod comes out, and then normal 1911 disassembly, the barrel comes out, and so you have the major components out. And like I said, standard KJW internals. I made the mistake of, when I first got it without even shooting it, I disassembled the slide completely, and so now the nozzle kind of jams up against the upper edge here, and that's a fairly common issue with the 1911 style pistols, or any gas blowback pistol for that matter. And what I have to do is just put some spacing material to lower the front of the nozzle so it clears and can come out. And what I noticed was, when I shot it, the blowback was a bit sluggish, and that's probably the reason why, because it's hitting up against that edge. So I'm gonna have to fix that. The slide, the weight of the slide, I'm gonna do another video where I compare this to the stock KJW MEU, and just all the different parts and the weights and so on, but it's massive. If you're thinking about shooting this on green gas or propane or whatever, don't. It's not gonna work unless you're like in 40 Celsius degree heat. It's just super heavy. So you really need the CO2 to power this thing. And also, the recoil spring is fairly weak. The snap when the slide goes forward is not very impressive. So I bought a couple of real steel springs. I'm going to try to replace those. The problem was the recoil spring plug, the inner diameter is a bit too small for the real steel springs, so they don't fit. So I actually have a real steel recoil spring on order, and I'm going to see if that works. So what were we talking about? I was going to do a check on the materials of this thing, and for those of you who have been following me on my post on Arnis regarding this, I have to clarify that I was a bit too quick to judge and send out information. There are parts here that I said were not steel that actually are steel. However, they are non-magnetic stainless steel, so that's why I was kind of thrown off. So let's start with the slide. Let me just get some magnets here. And again, this is the Neo. It's called the Neo Cube, and you can look it up online. So, nope. Let's see. Front side steel, magnetic. That's kind of my, you know, I'm not a metal guru of any kind. So to me, if it was magnetic, it was steel. If not, it was something else. But then a friend told me that certain stainless steel materials are non-magnetic. So to judge whether or not it's steel, I just feel the weight, and also steel compared to aluminum, it holds you know, temperature changes better. So if for example touch this, it's going to heat up and become not warm, but you know, more so than the aluminum counterpart. So let's continue. Magnet on the rear side.